Okay, we are live and kicking.
Good evening, everyone.
Hey, hey,
Ciao,
episode
baby.
two. Ciao, ciao. What is it? Buona notte.
Buonanotte is like you
Yeah.
say it for going to sleep, but in Italian we say buonasera.
Oh, buonasera. There we are. Good evening. Episode two. Wellness and wonder.
Wellness and wonder. I love this name, Paris.
Do you know what? We really thought hard to come up with it too, didn't we?
Yes,
We really, really did. How are you feeling?
very good. And you?
Good. Happy to be here. It's been a busy week, even though it's only Monday. But of course, it's been a week since we've seen each other, and whew,
Yeah. Sometimes time flies. During
doesn't
COVID,
it?
actually, time flies. I mean, maybe because we are struggling a lot, to do as much as we can, not to feel, lazy or bored. So sometimes time flies, but sometimes doesn't.
Right, right. It really does. But here we are. What's today's
Yes.
episode? Let the people know.
Yeah. Know your worth. Today's topic is so important, mostly during the beginning of this new year, 2021.
Definitely. And our focus today is making sure people are aware of their worth, their power, and worth doesn't always mean money, does it? It's more than
Absolutely.
just the worth of how you work, what you earn, living wage. This is like your worth on this planet, and
Yes.
that's a whole thing.
I would say, yes, Paris, totally. I would say it's not about what you do, it's about how you do it.
Definitely. And so with this, I guess the kind of top of the topic is how do we go about defining our worth? When you look at worth, what does that mean? How would you describe worth, Francesca?
I would describe worth as a value, but I would say that living consciously is the way to understand your worth and is the best way to realize actually your real dreams. Because we always go too fast. We miss so much during our daily life, during our, in our mind, we go too fast. So I think living consciously is one of the secrets to recognize our own values, our own worth. Because at the end of the day, what matters really to us is our own worth. Only then we are able, to also to give what we want to give to the world. If we understand our worth, our value.
It's so true.
Yes, and I would say, how can we really discover our worth, our value? It's difficult because many things come up in our mind, and we maybe sometimes we can do also many things, and so we get confused also by the others way of thinking. We get distracted. So my belief is during these tough times, we are not free to express our desires because we are continuously, interpreting the other's needs. Sometimes because we work in an office and we don't do what we want to do, but we do what the others want us to do. And that's a problem because we miss what we really want. So I would say that sometimes we have to be brave enough to take the lead for our own life, to risk it, and to through our experience and mistakes included, combined with wisdom, we can really reach our worth, our value. So experience including mistakes, wisdom combined, then I think results come.
That is amazing. And you know what? I couldn't have said it better myself, Francesca. And I think we can go deeper than that because we get over
Yes,
time, we become conditioned, don't we? We are conditioned to not realize our worth. And I think this is something that life knocks out of us, that awareness of we are enough, you are enough. And we briefly mentioned this last week that too many people don't command their worth in this life. You don't manifest your worth in this life. So you would look at somebody and say, oh, they have everything, but you might see them come out of the situation and it probably is to do of their worth. And those who know me and close enough to me will know I am a queen of worth. Like, and worth, again, is not a financial thing, it's how you're treated and how you're felt. And over time, we are so conditioned to be, we show gratitude in everything we do. And I generally believe in this life, we are not owed anything, we are not deserving of anything, but there is a balance. And I think promising yourself, there's a saying in Taoism that the sage is an everlasting sage. You want for nothing, so you hope for everything but expect nothing. And I think that's how we find our worth. So you do things without expectation, and we become a condition to live on the expectation rather than living for why we do it or living for the hope of the best. And I think in this process is where we lose our worth. So
true.
That's, I think, so important, is understanding that this is not a temporary fix, or that even though it's hard, this is as good as it's gonna get. It's never stuck, is it? Your worth is never a fixed value.
Completely, Paris. Thank you for your words. Yes, and yes, and many people, they limit themselves. They don't really try to go deep within their consciousness because they believe what they're doing is the right thing because the others tell them they're doing the right thing. So mostly now, let's try to remind people the positive things of COVID. And now that we have time to focus on what we really want, don't limit yourself. Believe in your desires, in your dream. Make it happen. Make it happen, because it is so important, our happiness. If we are happy, our children will be happy, our husband will be happy. I'm talking as a woman, of course.
Of course.
And so if we really focus on serving our values, because it's about serving. Of course, everything is work, everything. Nothing is easy.
No.
Nothing is really easy, And even if you do something very simple, if you do it well, that means that you put all your passion behind it, then you will have result. So one of my advice is to focus on serving your values and understand what really excites you. What excites you the most. Maybe for some people are money, okay. And so if you believe in money, make the most of it and do, the job that brings you money, if really this is your happiness, even though I don't believe so, because as we know, Paris, money make things comfortable, but happiness comes from within,
It sure
from other
does.
things.
But
So
you definitely hit the nail on the head there, and it is, and I think this is something that I'll talk a little bit further on. But when we talk about passion, is when do you look at passion, and how long does passion keep you alive for? And also, while we're here, I'm going to say hi to Nathan, hi to Joey, hey to is it Fabio? Can you see the comments there, Francie?
yes, I can see it. Ciao, Fabio.
Lovely. And that's the point. When is it passion? How far does passion take you? And it's when you know your worth. That's what exudes passion into worth. So we start with passion, and then it's your worth that takes you beyond that passion. So we can sit, and I feel like that's been my career to this day. Your passion is what will make you succeed. It's your understanding of worth. And a lot of people will look at a situation and go, well, you know what? And I'm the essence of that. A lot of the time I've always been the queen of security, so I'll pick the safest route. But when you know your worth, you don't pick the safest route. You pick the bit that matches your passion. It matches your goals. And I think we're conditioned to pick the version that matches how we're conditioned. So the version of, well, this is how it goes, even though it's not right for me, I don't think I'd get better than this. Them words alone, they're so like powerful in a negative way. When you say I don't think,
Oh my God. Well, our fears are part of the process, but they don't define our values. That's what
right,
people have to understand, Paris. like us, we risked it all following our passions, and in a bit we're going to share our stories. But people think that fears define, their values. So sometimes because they have these doubts and fears, they think it's not going to happen. But these things don't define your value. Your value is so much more than your fears and your doubts. And we're human. It's normal to have them. Otherwise, we would be robots. I mean,
Well, this is
it's
it.
normal.
But this is
Yes.
how we condition to be, is almost like robots, and that's something that you have to break up. We all have to break out of this mold, and we actually have some tips as well how to help break this mold. And I was actually in a couple of talks this week about talking how we are so conditioned. When we raise a child, you say you are amazing, you are wonderful, you are so strong, you're so big, you're so happy. But then as we become older, we go, I am this, or I want to be. And whether you believe in heaven or whatever your religion may be, they say that in the most childish state is when you open into this euphoria of heaven. And they say that those with a childish heart can progress into that level of spirituality and that level of life. And we lose
Maybe
that.
that's spiritual love we were talking about last time. The spiritual love,
Exactly.
your purpose.
Exactly.
Yes. Yes.
And we lose this over time because we become run down with the 9 to 5, the life, the stress of life, and we don't tell ourselves enough, you are amazing, you can do this. And I think that's what the difference is. And people have seen people go from living in boxes, bless them, to becoming CEOs of top companies within a matter of months, just from changing where they encourage you in spirituality or in wellness to say, I am enough. Everyone talks about affirmations, but rather than say I, change that to you. When you look in that mirror, change that to you can do this. Not I can do this, because our brain conditions us really to not believe it. But when someone else tells you, and that someone else can be that person in the mirror. And I
Yes,
think
Paris.
that's
Totally.
understanding that worth.
Totally, totally. In fact, sometimes, what I say to myself is define your value. So define it, understand which one it is, the most exciting thing for you, then communicate it, because communication is important. Communicating it to people is very important, because as we know, cooperation is not a limitation. Cooperation helps you find also your strength, your within strength. And
Yes.
then once we communicate it, so we earn our full potential. So it's about defining it, communicating it, and earning it.
And it's also, the point is we speak about worth, and of course with that worth it's also knowing that, as we say, you are enough. Now, how far do people take that? When if someone says, okay, you are enough, but when someone says, what do you think? What it's not there's a thin line between knowing you're enough and arrogance, of course, and we always take opinion and understanding that.
Yeah.
But we have a thing called intuition also, and intuitively we need to make these decisions in our lives to take that leap of hope. So
Yeah.
in that realm of intuition, how does it feel in your gut? And with that, of course, this also reflects back to spiritual love, because you look and say, how do I feel about this situation? Now, do you jump out on love? Do you jump out on hope in this situation? Or do you let the status quo and the norm and the way we're conditioned to take over a situation? And that's where your worth applies. Say, I know I'm good enough. I'm going to take a leap out on hope on this one. And of course, sometimes life throws things in the balance, and that's of course elements that we can't control. But let's talk about
Totally, Paris.
intuition. How powerful is intuition?
Mamma mia, how powerful, Paris. And sometimes intuition, bring us to this state of mind where we feel in danger. And that's when you have to risk it and continue believing it, because our intuition, it's very powerful. It's our instinct. We are animals at the end of the day. We can be compared to animals only because we have this instinct that it's in both of us. Then, of course, we have soul, we have many other things, so we are not the same for sure, but what we consciousness and many other things, but what we have in common is instinct. We can feel danger, we can feel sometimes, in the gut when we fell in love immediately with someone, we can feel the connection with people. This come from our gut, our instinct. It's so important. Even Paris, me and you, as soon as we met, of
For
course we
day
met
one.
day one. I couldn't leave you. You were my favorite DJ ever, and I wanted to call you all the time, every event, because it was about, we didn't know each other so well. It was just a gut feeling. It is important to follow your instinct and don't be scared. And sometimes also a mistake that we make, it's to cooperate with people that are maybe negative. This doesn't help, because we are made of energy and we attract this negativity. The law of attraction in this case is also very important. Surround yourself by people that believe in stuff like you do, same values, like last time we said,
Yes, of
maybe.
course.
It's important because they give you strength and they understand you. So there is no competition, but there is this fight for the same values. And if you really cooperate with the same purpose, that's when you have success also. It's not only about us, it's about the whole.
And this is it. And I watched this beautiful, and I actually shared it on my Instagram today. He's part of the Believe Tuesdays community. Big shout to all the crew there. But Ant said that everything is energy, and me and my sisters often talk about this as well. And I don't think again, we always go back to meditation, but we don't talk enough about the strength of our own energy in all of this. And part of meditation is, of course, harnessing that power and going through that, but it's looking at the strength in that energy, and you can strengthen that, and with that we'll harness a power and a worth like we've never seen before. It's
Yes.
truly amazing.
Yes, Paris. I don't think I would have done it alone, this podcast. That's the proof of cooperation, believing in the same value, making it a success. I mean, we can give many examples to people. I was reinventing myself many times in my life. I've made like 4 different jobs, and in each of them, I don't really want to show off, but I really want to share my experience. I had success. I was, a chef. I ended up being a chef of Madonna. I was
Wow.
doing events. I ended up to be known in most of Europe, the brand of FAM. And now, with nutrition, I'm helping people to feel good at home. If we believe in what we do, Paris, like you're doing also an amazing job, people told me, Paris, you're magical. Um, Truly. So if you believe in it, doesn't matter the rules, doesn't matter what they tell you. My parents thought I was crazy, From being a chef, I wanted to organize the event. Say, Francesca, you are completely mad. But I was
Oh,
believing in my value, which
there we
is
go.
obvious. Yes, it's important to believe in your values. No one can tell you what to do. Only you know. And that's again the instinct.
And this is so true. And this is obviously myself. Like we have always been this way from working in the music business. You don't, it isn't exactly a women-led community. There are many women, and big shout to all the women that do this. And I've never really been someone that's often spoke about me being a woman in the game. Mentioning one, big shout to Mickey Affleck here. And also we should probably do these comments. They've been rolling through. Hey Shalim, Dave says we have stopped over time feeling and using our gut. Of course, big shout out to Chris Saunders as well, Fabio. All these comments are coming in, so lovely. But
Oh,
yeah,
so lovely.
we jump out on the self belief, and sometimes life shows us that sometimes that isn't enough. But at least the lessons we learn in that process are everything. So for me, in my position, what I went through in the music business, of course, I very much love it. It's always going to be part of my heart. And many people ask me all the time for more music and so much more. But it just becomes a point of when does that worth apply? You prove yourself in something, and you keep having to be. And this is for so many musicians too. I can't tell you how many musicians I know who are top tier and don't get what they deserve. And again, do we deserve anything? But it comes to a place in time where the two have to match. And I think that's when you have to jump out and know your worth and say, I am not being served here. there is so much in this life we can receive, and my passion is now killing my ability to receive. And that's for me where I came to in my previous career in music, that my passion will take me so far, but then the stress I was feeling in my body, the depression, the ache, the hurt of fighting, and everyone says, "Oh yes, you'll make it. It'll be fine." But
Yeah,
when does that day come? When does
baby,
that day
because
come?
yes, because actually, it's that it's success, like stability is within us, because
Yes,
at the end of the day, that means that if you're unsatisfied, that means that you want to do maybe something else and not only this. There is something more. Of course, it's very personal,
of
so I
course.
wouldn't. I, I'm not in the position to say to these people why they don't feel satisfied, even if they are doing their best. But I suppose if they don't feel the success within them, there must be another reason, and they should be actually happy for what they're doing and discover what is going wrong and to study, their soul within themselves deeply.
Completely. That's something that I spent a lot of time doing, to why we're here today, because we, as you said last time, we can speak about it because we've been here. And the point is, obviously, I look back, and if I would have gone on this more than this, I'd still be there, because
Yeah.
I took the safe option. Well, you don't do this by yourself. You have to have a team, and you have to have somebody else. But if I would have just done it by myself,
Yeah.
I
That's why the
yeah,
meditation helps to find yourself within, because we explore our body inside instead of focusing on the outside world. I think meditation helps to do this. Yes, a
it
lot.
really does. And I think it's definitely not a situation of questioning anything, or double counting anything, but you just have to look at, what do you see for yourself? And this is obviously what, we said you've got to set your intention for this year, and what do you want out of this year? Because of course, for us, this year has been thrown to the wayside. There's so much that has been,
Yes.
like, we sit and all the things we took for granted.
So many things we take for granted, Paris. Sometimes
and
you, yeah,
and now it's a situation where we say, okay, we need to do these things that serve us directly. And
yeah,
with that, you have to look and feel your gut, know your worth, and put it into action. As we say, we turn dreams into plans by the positions we make. The only break between you and what you want is the steps you take towards it.
yes,
And all I know, that I would love to spend as much time as possible with my son. I would love to spend as much time with my clients, with yourself, making sure that people find their best selves, and do that. With that I decided to throw both feet into it, because that's what brings us joy. And
yes.
it's a joy that I only found after I had to take that leap within myself.
Yes, baby. In fact, sometimes we have to think less and act more, because the more we think, the more we overthink, and we reach this level of confusion. So think about what you want to do, write it down, and take action. This is very
Yes.
important for sure. And once we found our worth, so the thing that excites us the most, that's when we will feel respected by the
Yeah.
others and by ourselves.
And again, it goes back to the thing also, that of not expecting anything from this situation as well. We,
Yeah.
the same way you went, trying to do a podcast by yourself, and I'm so busy often producing podcasts that I actually wasn't particularly trying to do one myself, but we sit here and say, oh,
Baby,
hold on, let's do this
what is
together.
going
And
Yes.
it's that kindred spirit, and actually almost to the point where we're almost contradictory, but it's the point where it's that energy together, where we say, yes, we are not doing this for anything, but we know that you being the
Make us feel good, baby. It makes us
exactly,
feel, yes.
with your holistic, spiritual, food, wellness connection, of course, with me from the fitness, muscle healing, wellness connection, it's necessary, and we both focus on this this spirituality that is so important, because we've been there, we've seen it, and with the year that we've had, it's now making sure that even with the challenges we're seeing at the top of the year, how we can progress as quickly as possible. So then when this world opens up, Francesca and I, we have armed you to just go
Yes, to
straight
fly,
in.
baby, to fly together for sure.
Exactly.
Yes,
We're a community, and we're a place of love, and we often say, and we said in the last episode particularly as well, that this is a safe space, and we want people to know that in this corner of the internet, this is where we spread this love.
yes. And sometimes, we don't necessarily, know what is going to happen with this podcast, but because we love it so much and we love to catch up, to share, our thoughts in front of everyone, it is something that maybe it will inspire people, and there is nothing better than inspiring people, sharing our knowledge during a storytelling that give strength and example to people, which is important.
And that's the thing, and it's like, we all have this superpower, and as we say, the rat race will lock it out of you. Some people even maybe grown it up in the environment that you've never been told how powerful you are, and so let us be that person today to
Yes.
open up a deeper insight. And some people, who won't those who some people will get it, some people won't, but
Yeah.
for those that will get it, we're here to tell you that there's a power that we've harnessed, that you can harness, that helps you understand this worth. If you find yourself, you look at your circumstances, you say, well, I'm stuck doing this, I'm stuck doing that, and it's the planner that I spoke about last time is the Freedom Mastery. Please do look that up, the Freedom Mastery planner. This planner helps you. So it's a daily planner. So of course you can write your daily tasks if you have an office job, a 9 to 5 shift work, whatever it may be. Write this down. So Freedom Mastery, do check it out. Amazon, it will come tomorrow. If you go look now, you can get it tomorrow. But this puts down all the steps that it may take to get to where you want to be. So you write down the goals you have, why you haven't made it, and whatever excuse or reason that you haven't made it, just like you said, it makes you work that out. It makes you think,
Yes.
and you say, okay, and
Yes.
you do
And
it.
then you earn your full potential.
Exactly.
Totally, Paris. And once you reach you discover what's your worth, then I would say that the key word is resilience. Resilience. Go on.
Yes.
Why? Because our soul is stronger than our body. So of course our body sometimes feel tired, but our soul is so strong that it cannot be destroyed by anyone. So resilience is one of the keywords to make it happen. Know your worth and make it work.
And that's the point, resilience. This word is, you have like the likes of David Goggins. If anyone's read his story of how he went through multiple trials of war, and he puts himself through this path, or any Marine or anyone from the military will know a level of resilience that your average person, and even to use the word average is probably not correct, but your normal person who hasn't tapped into that resilience understands. And we're not talking about you've got to go train like a military folk, but
Yes.
we have superpowers beyond we even know. Like, even though I know myself, like, we all get caught up.
Yeah.
I am probably one of the most and many people wouldn't even know this, but I could be one of the most anxious people you've ever seen. And my problem is
Yes.
I always worry about tomorrow. So as we said before, depression is yesterday, anxious is tomorrow. Focus on the present.
Yes.
And
Focus on the present and keeping within you your purpose all the time. That gives you strength, and communicate it. Communicate it is important. Let's not forget that.
so important.
It's define it, communicate it, and earn your full potential. These are the three keywords I always remind to myself.
So say that again for me, because the internet. So we've got hit the three again.
Define, define your value,
Mm-hmm.
communicate your value,
Mm-hmm.
and earn your full potential.
There we go. And when you say communicate, say that out loud. And even if it means it to yourself or to those around you,
Yes.
I'm just going to send a big shout out to Lenny Fontana. Thank you so much. Of course, with his house stories, it's been lovely to see what you've been doing. Joe, Dave says everything's easier with two. It definitely is. DJ Caliber, lovely to see you here. Mickey's going to send us something later. Yes, it is definitely that. Like, you have to say it out loud, say it to
Even
yourself.
to people close to you that you believe you trust, because they can always, help you with their energy, or either, with their support, real support, like me and Paris again here. But, there are many examples. So we shouldn't be scared to say it, and
Yes.
to risk it, to take the lead. It's so important, because it's all about us. No one is going to help us if we're not able to help ourselves.
Exactly. And again, obviously, if so many people are caught up by our mental trials, but know that you can get yourself out of it. But with that, you have to see it as the steps. So we have these steps in life that help us get through these trials and these moments. And that's the bit that I think comes in worth, that, and that's where obviously we also start to collapse. We're only human, and so we don't want to come across either as this, what they call actually like toxic positivity, too positive, you can do it. No, be
No,
human,
it's
feel the
about suffering
stress.
too. Yeah.
Exactly, be human, feel that stress, do the all can I, can't I, and we say just try, give yourself a time span, and don't even actually try, not just see how long it takes. How will you reach your goal? How long will it take you to reach that goal?
Yeah.
Try and give yourself a time. So within
Yes,
the
baby.
Freedom Mastery Planner, you say 1 month, 3 month, 3 years, 1 year, 5
Time
years,
doesn't
10
matter.
years.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. But to
And it's
help,
also a journey. Yes, sorry, baby.
no, fine, but to help focus your intention, that's where that time comes into play, because you say, well, okay, if I commit 30 minutes to this every night, it's going to do something. So if you work out for 25 minutes 5 times a week and you eat a little less than you normally do, you'll
Yeah.
lose weight. It needs no science. You'll lose
Yeah.
weight because you've done it consistently. So
Yes.
that, and consistency is something that we need to believe in ourselves to do.
See, Paris, totally. Yes. In fact, when I say also, communicate your worth, your value, I mean also communicate it positively, believing in it. Because as soon as we start, we have to remember that our words become reality. So if you
Yes.
start saying, if you communicate your value of your desires, your dreams in a negative way, then it won't happen. So it's important to use the right words to the outside world and to yourself. Start changing your mindset if you're negative. Yeah.
Because that is that frequency that we vibrate on. If you're telling yourself, I can't do this, don't ever use them words, because you're challenging your own worth. Don't you say, oh, I can't do that by myself. Yeah, you can. You just told yourself. And my sister
Yeah.
actually shared, shouts to Tiana, she shared a thing today saying that she's been reading Good Vibes, Good Life, I think the book is, and it says that whether you can or you can't, whatever you say, that's what it is. So if you say you can, you can. If you say you can't, you can't. And that's the bit that we have to understand, that our power is the reason to why we get that. So if you say, oh, do you know what? I want this, but I'm never going to get that by myself. Oh, no, you're not. But, and that's the bit that I had to realize in myself. I was like, oh, particularly in my field, you get to a stage and you become decorated and celebrated for being having a certain level of production or whatever. But then in the same breath, someone's saying, oh, can you do this for free? You're like, hold on, wait a second. Like,
Yes, yes. Your worth
this,
is important. I mean,
yeah.
yes,
How many
totally.
times are you going to be told that, or how many times, and sometimes you're not even told, and I think that's the bit that a lot of people don't realize. Sometimes you're not told, sometimes you're shown. And it's like, how many times are you going to be shown that you're not worth it? And I think that's so important. Like, if you are not feeling anything in abundance, and that could be something as simple as in a relationship, if you do not feel your love in abundance, that's
Yes.
that's it.
Yes, baby. And sometimes, I repeat it again, all these fears and doubts, they come from our experience. That's why don't let fears define your values. Your experience is your teacher. Your wisdom comes from your mistakes. So don't let all these doubts define your values. Just detach from it. And
Exactly.
sometimes, if you cannot do it, use the Aladdin lamp. Think, oh, no doubt, no fears. I'm joking, of course.
Are you though? We all love a little bit of Aladdin. Look at that. So we send a big shout out to Mr. Downing here. Know your worth. He says, know your worth. Let's throw that.
Know your
E-
worth.
e-
Yeah.
Very important. Let me hope I get your name right. Iego Casijo. She says, brain is the greatest limit maker. It's also the biggest muscle. Next to your stomach, them two working in sync. Aigo says she uses music to free her spirit, and that's what we spoke about last week. Actually, that
Yes.
that anything that can help you transcend into this kind of yourself, because things that make you feel good, that's when you need to think about what do you want. So for the most spiritually trained or people who practice their spirituality a lot, whether it's prayer, whether it's manifesting, you pray for things. And a lot of people, and this would probably be a whole other subject, but a lot of people don't realize that spirituality and Christianity can go side by side. Many people say, oh, I don't believe in religion because, I'm this, I'm that.
Religion is about values. It's are all together. Yes.
Exactly. But don't let your spirituality or your religion challenge each other,
Yeah.
because it's, as you said, it's the values of whatever your religion are that help you get through the day, but it's spirituality that will push you further. So it's
Totally.
like you've got your foundation of religious spirit, but then it's your spirit inside that will take you beyond them gates. And that is
Yeah.
what's so important, is practicing both. So whatever it means to you, that is when your body is in most sync. So if it's prayer, if it's listening to music, if you do it daily, that's the moment. If you play a sport, and of course with sports a lot of the time you have to be so focused also, but the when your whole body is in sync with something, that's the time to
Yes.
consume your wants mostly. So when you're listening to music, not only while you're appreciating the music, just think about, clear your mind and think about what you want, how you want it.
Yes.
It's so
Yes.
important.
And to feel excited is so important. If you do something, it should excite you. I mean,
Completely.
we shouldn't be bored to do something. Of course, it's risky, but that's when you understand your worth, and that's when you can feel respected because you do what you want.
This is the one. Melissa said this is fantastic timing for us to see that. I hope that you take something away from this today, Melissa. And of course, Aigo says that ego is the issue. Too much ego traps you. Too much ego does trap you. But I
Yeah,
think also ego is something that's part of human. I think with everything we
it's
discuss,
normal.
it's normal. Some allow yourself to feel ego. Allow yourself, not whether it's right or wrong. That's something that people can make their own decision on. But ego is part of the process, because it means you let your thoughts of yourself go beyond yourself. But sometimes just do your best to wrap it back in. But
Yeah,
also, ego can help you knock down the door a little bit. It's not a
Yeah,
good thing.
ego is important too, baby. Come on, in fact, you say right. Because with, I mean, we are not Buddhas here.
Right,
Like,
right, exactly.
yeah, it depends on who you are. You know, if you're a monk, of course,
Right.
ego away. But, but ego also is important to, yeah, to be strong and to believe in yourself. But ego is not the first thing. It's about the
There we go.
balance, baby, like you always say.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think that we need that little bit of something, especially like for me, as we've discussed before, I'm a Cancerian. I'm very affectionate, very soft, but you look at that and we don't have ego. We just don't, particularly myself. But if I would have had a little bit more ego in the past, I maybe wouldn't have run into certain situations. And so I think it's that fine line between knocking through the door to get what you want, and that is that self-belief. Some can call it ego, but ego is when it runs ahead of you. But that self-belief to say, no, I know I can do this.
Yes. If you believe in it, you can do it. Totally. Totally, baby. Totally. So, yes, I've been reading a book and I want to suggest to people to read this book. It's called Know Your Worth of N.K. Sandhi. It's an
Okay, okay.
Indian, yeah, it's an Indian writer. It talks about his story in his bank, Punjab, and it's a storytelling, sharing his experience about the importance of knowing your worth to find happiness within. It's very important. No one can tell you how to be happy. Only you know how to be happy. Happiness comes from within, and if you know your worth, you will really reach success.
And that's really, really important. And I think it is that important that understanding that word. And I haven't actually read this book, Franchi, so I'm really looking forward to, and I hope that we will have a website up soon when you can get these books we recommend. It should be up at the end of the week, but
Yeah.
we want to
Baby, what
encourage
about
you.
her book? You were reading also an amazing book.
I
You
was.
amazing
I'll get to that.
superstar.
So me and Franchi, we often read. We share each other at the top of the week. What are you reading this week? And you know, because the wonderful thing we've got in this time is that books, thanks to public libraries, digital libraries, Kindle,
Yeah.
and of course independent bookstores too. We have this wonder that knowledge is so acquirable, education is so acquirable, and obviously not everybody has the gift of being able to read, but if you can have the gift of mastering a little bit extra of yourself, that's amazing. And so we pick these topics and we say, okay, well, what should we share? Where is your spirit this week? What do we feel? And so I will read one book and Franchi reads another. So Dave's just asking actually who was the author again. Do you want me to put it up again, Franchi?
Yes, N.K. Sondhi. It's an Indian writer. N.K. Sondhw.
If you can see the video, Dave, this is the book on the screen, so you can see how this looks. So we also spoke about intuition, and this is something that I generally have noticed, and particularly with some of my clients that I help them discuss often, that they don't believe in themselves enough. So often we say, okay, I don't feel right about this situation. So I have one client, she's a very talented writer, and she had to choose between one company or the other. And I said to her, well, what do you feel? I feel this, but the other option has got more money. And I said, go with your gut, because we never want to be in the position where we're left saying, should I, would I, could I, So I'm actually currently
Yeah.
reading this amazing book, which is Sacred Woman, A Guide to Healing the
Wow.
Feminine Body, Mind and Spirit, Queen of Fua. So
Amazing.
I believe there is
Amazing.
also Divine Masculine and Sacred Man that is out there. So also do know that I will be reading that also. But this is actually about gut-brain connection that women, we don't often as mothers, as maternal beings, we don't trust our gut enough, and we don't use that gut enough. So we have this, so Iago's saying it, intuition is the higher power of emotion, and we don't use it enough. So Queen Afua's book talks about not only looking at that intuition, but often as women, a lot of our pain can stem through our womb and the connection that we have internally. And of course, this is where we link to food. And there is a whole diet in there, which obviously I'm really looking forward to us sharing this insight on our website as well, because this is something that may help many. And of course, with your amazing cooking abilities and my deep scientific knowledge, we can fuse the two and help understand a deeper sentiment behind spiritual messages like Queen Afua's and the book that we recommended from yourself,
Yes.
So it's absolutely fantastic. But that's the plan. So the top of the notes for this episode are: take the leap, whatever you feel, sit with it and think to yourself, whatever it is, and while you're doing what you're doing, remember the why, because the why is what's going to lead you to the how. So why you want something. So I always joke with some of my closest people that I'm very got my blinkers on. That's what I want. One track, only want one thing. And it's just something as simple as the domestic situation being ideal, but I always joke saying, well, this is what I want. Sorry. We often, you'll see, if you follow me on social media, you see me constantly sharing pretty kitchens or
amazing, beautiful pictures. I love them, Paris.
Anyone will know I love a good interior design. So that's so cool. Something we see daily, and my algorithm, I think, on social media has gone up that I just get shown pretty houses all the time. But I'm a domestic being. I would want a lovely home for my family. And so that's my why, is having, my son and that domestic situation that leads me to do that. So I said to myself, right, how do I build that reality? And that's my why. Now I'm at the how. And that's helping me make the decisions along the way, saying, well, how do I get to this? Well, I definitely know me sitting feeling sad today is not gonna get to my why.
Yes.
And it's the worth of knowing how much I want that why. So I think that's really important.
Yes, so important. Doesn't matter what you do, how you do it. Yes, got it.
Ego saying everything as it should be. We are all enough. Live moment to moment and just be. And this is the thing. But of course, what we're also helping you with, that is a very high spiritual point of view. But it's not so easy for everybody to be that way. And that's definitely something that we all are completely working up to. To get to that position where we can just say, divine timing, leave it to the stars. And I think that's something that I've also noticed a lot of people gain with age as well. But when you're kind of in, the age range we share, that we're very like, tomorrow, let's build this, and I can do this. And I think we get lost in the want, and we don't appreciate the journey enough.
Yes, so true, Paris. So true.
I
still have in my mind all our discussion. I'm thinking.
What are you thinking about?
About all this. It's so important what you're saying. And I hope people will listen to this podcast, or they will read the books about Know Your Worth, because this is the time to think about this stuff, to reinvent ourselves and to get to know our own values, which are the most important things.
They really are. And I think, feel free for anybody to reach out to us to find out any tools that help you get there. If you're really finding yourself stuck in a rut, you're most welcome to contact Francesca and I, and we can help you just find this open book that is you. You can do it. And just know that if you tell yourself you can do it, don't say I can do it, say you can do it. Look in that mirror and
Yes.
command that reality. And just, if you're playing it safe, no miracle can happen in the comfort zone. So of course, if you've been doing the same thing for many years, and if you're happy there, like, let's not denormalize okay. If you are happy with okay, that's perfectly
Amazing.
fine too. I
Yeah.
can't wait to be okay, to be honest. You know, my as we've discussed, our desire and our want is so high. You know, we want the world for so many things, but just to have that ability, like I actually joke, you know, we'll you know, in this time, you know, with my son, we're all home, stay at home educating, and of course myself working for myself, and you know, working in the field I work in. You know, we have clients and we have to work all day. And I said, oh gosh, if I was, you know, in a position where I could just be mummy. But life isn't like that,
Life
and that's
isn't,
someone's
yeah.
reality.
We cannot always control fate,
No,
unfortunately.
no.
And the balance, we need to adapt. You know, Steve Jobs said that the intelligence comes from being able to adapt. To be able to adapt is also very important. So keep the purpose, but adapt to situations and do your best for the situation you are living in.
Completely. And that is that, like, my dream is, you know, what I do will be that, let's say, that person who just stays at home, looks after her husband, and looks after a child. That would be my dream position, to be honest with you. Like, I can't wait for that, just to be able to, and I know you probably feel similar, cook in the kitchen, make a beautiful big meal, sit down daily. Like, that is heaven to me. But all my life has known is drive, and do. But someone who has what would be my heaven must look at what I do and go, wow, look how free she is. And, you know, seeing us as these professional mavericks and constantly doing what we do, it's that all the time.
Yes.
But we look at this reality and say, you know what? That's what I would like. The ability to just stop and do that. Aigo is saying we always measure your treasures. And you know, that's another thing, is to write down what your treasures are, and we always come back to writing, but you know, they say there's nothing more powerful than the pen, is there?
Yeah. Yes. I For me, the only treasure is love. There is nothing else than love.
You are queen love, and I love it. I love it, Frenchie.
I'm in love with love. What can I say, Paris?
But you know what? Aren't
For
we
me,
all?
it's all about love.
I think everything feels love, and
Yeah,
part of your worth is loving yourself. And
totally.
that's completely this. You know, you look at the world and the way it is, and don't let it challenge that worth. You
Yeah,
know, understand that is how it goes. Some days it's going to be good, some days it's going to be bad, but that's the yin and yang of things, and don't lose your worth in that storm. You know, that's
never. Enjoy the
particularly,
storm if you can.
take shelter.
Take shelter if you can.
Take shelter.
Yes, totally, baby. Well,
Yeah.
now we're going to ride this storm.
We are going to ride this storm of life, and we are, and that's what a lot of people said as well, particularly with what we're going through. Some people have ships, some people are sheltering in place, but we're all in this storm together. So while we're in this storm, please go ahead, and we'll put the website on the next blog. And this is not commissioned. Everything we talk about, you know, Franchi's not commissioned for that book. We're not commissioned for anything. We tell you these things out of Franchi's number one thing, love. So
Love, love, love. It's all about love. Food is all about love. Culinary experiences are about love. You know, art is about love, is an expression of love. You know, everything I do and
everything,
everything I love, it's about love.
because we
Baby,
feel
it's
energy
true.
in it, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's all energy. And you
it's
know,
all energy.
when you even look at a storm, what is a storm? It's a combination, and it's always, what do they say, that it's always calmness before the storm. So
Yes.
expect a storm, but be prepared for the storm.
And enjoy the calm before the storm, like Paris said now. It's so true.
Yeah,
Now the
it's
calmness, enjoy it.
because when we come out of this lockdown, and what is the we have the tier system in the UK. What do you have in Italy?
Sorry?
What is, you know how we have like the tier system, so we're currently in like tier 5, tier 4 over here to do with the virus.
Ah, it's we are orange now. We use colors like red,
Right.
orange, yellow. We are orange now. But baby, seriously, I'm just living in my bubble. I'm reading. I'm writing a book. Actually, I don't want to say what it's about, but I'm
Amazing.
writing. I'm doing my online cooking classes to cure people with powerful ingredients. Then I'm doing, I'm painting. I listen to music. I write poems. I just do what I love.
And but that's you, isn't it?
And
And
I the
that's
podcast with you now, baby, which I love the most.
this is what we do. We take this
Yeah.
moment each week, and we talk about our passions, and we talk about our love, and we make sure that we spread this energy to make sure that everyone feels this love in this storm, so that
Yeah.
when this storm clears, there's going to be life's going to go like this. You imagine getting on a plane again. How is that going to feel? Like all these things that we haven't been able to do.
Yes, in fact, it's the perfect moment to study and to deepen our passion. Like, we are studying nutrition, you are an expert already, but, we never stop learning. It's important to focus now and to study and to get to know our worth because life changes, we change, and we can learn so many things and we have no limits.
Right, exactly. And
Maybe, yeah,
this is it. And so for us,
we have no
we
limits.
we focus on this.
Yeah,
We're constantly reading. I'm constantly looking at ways. Obviously, like, for now in my position, they've shut all the gyms, so I sit with my clients and I phone them this week and I say, okay, how would you like to work now? And they say, well, can we work online? And that is a cool. I found one of my, a client who I thought I was only be working with him for 12 sessions, so 12 weeks. We've now been working together for, I think, easily probably 42 weeks. And it's just because he enjoys the work that we do, and he's seen the progression, because of course we spoke about the love of food, the love of self, and tying that all together. And I didn't expect actually to even turn around and work in this time, but he says no, we need that persistence of the energy that we've built, the journey we've built. And that's something that you go, wow, this
yes,
is that. So I continue to read, how do we develop the muscle growth constantly, all these things that we do without thinking in the normal world. We can now have this bit where we focus and we do it. So of course with your recipes, and this is us
yeah.
heightening the awareness and heightening the love and heightening how we spread this moment.
Yes, superstar.
It's so funny. But it's
You are a
lovely.
superstar, Paris.
So please, guys, do obviously reach out to us if you want us to discuss anything. We are most happy to too. And of course, follow us on Instagram. We haven't set up, and we don't really plan to set up anything separate for Wellness and Wonder, because we want to share this. It's us. It's Franchi. It's me. We're here, and we even ended up wearing the same color today, and we didn't know.
Yes, yes, we are connected, baby.
Always.
Even outside, yeah,
So good. So listen to your music, and do you know what? Build playlists, whatever its situation is, and please check out our playlist. Do you have Spotify, Franchi?
yeah,
Yeah. So can people add you on Spotify? Can they see the playlist you're building and making? If anyone sees me on Spotify, you see I have about 2,000 playlists. It's a problem, but I listen to so much music. It's so important, and so
so
because it's love.
important.
It's
Yes,
love,
pure
it's
love.
energy, and it's what we share. So please do that. Go check out Freedom Mastery Manifestation Planner. Also check out Tori Enzo as well for meditations. There's so much out there to have and to see and to hold and to grow.
Yeah,
And the bottom line is, know your worth. Understand that worth isn't just, don't ever charge for your time, charge for your worth. And I think that's the important thing. So,
That's
you
super
know,
important.
that's the one. Understand that, is this worth my, is this worth me? Not worth your time, because, in time, our time for ourselves, there's so much we can apply time to, but we are not time. Time is not promised, but our spirit, our energy is. So see if that's worth, and it does that match what you want to do. Keep that in line, and yeah, stay in touch with us, isn't it? We'll be back on
Thank you to
Monday.
that. And be ready for the next topic next week.
Next week we'll be back. Of course, we just thank you for sitting with us, all of you. There's so many of you joining us here for this hour, and it's lovely. We'll see you soon.
Paris, can't wait to see you soon. Well, we'll be in
Can't
touch.
wait. It will
We'll be in touch.
definitely. See you. Bye now.
See you.